Alright fellas, we just saw Anthony Joshua face off against Jake Paul. A fight no one thought would ever happen just did. And although we all expected Joshua to put on a performance similar to what he did against Ngannou, it didn't really turn out that way. Almost everyone thought going into this fight that Joshua would be able to end it early in dramatic fashion. Although he did get the job done eventually, what we saw throughout the fight was all a bit of a head scratcher. We saw a Paul, who turned into a track star instead of a boxer, go against a Joshua who at times just seemed hesitant to engage. So after such an odd bout, I want to talk about what we just saw as well as what it means for both next. Does this performance by AJ hurt a potential Tyson Fury bout next year? But just quickly, if you do love boxing, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and I'll always keep you in the loop as things happen. Now, this fight in theory should have never happened, but the power of money and clout proves the impossible can happen. Going into this fight, Joshua had the weight of the boxing world on his shoulders. Jake, to this point, has never really fought anything close to an active boxer. The closest he's got is Tommy Fury, and I don't know if I really even count him as a boxer at this point. So Joshua was really expected to go in there and end the Jake Paul show on behalf of the traditional boxing world. It all seemed so simple, but then the Paul camp did what they should have. Jake, from the opening bell, instantly went on the jog, which is what I predicted before the fight, and going into this fight, it's what should have been expected. Jake's team isn't dumb enough to get him to sit there and trade with Joshua from the beginning. They know the longer that Jake lasts, the more of a moral victory it is for him, and that's exactly what their plan seemed to be going into the fight. Jake simply ran for the first half of the fight. He went on the jog, he tried to find awkward angles, and every now and then he tried to sneak in a jab or occasionally try and throw his overhand. Yet, although Paul's game plan is what we kind of expected, Joshua's plan certainly confused me. Now, it is hard to hit a moving target. Paul was effective in moving around the ring and making Joshua miss early, but then it just continued, and Joshua really allowed Jake to consistently clinch with little to no pushback. There were almost no attempts at cutting off the ring by Joshua, and even when he got close, all he tried to do was land sloppy body shots. Jake's hands were at his hips for almost the whole fight. And it's not like Jake was moving like a prime Usyk. Truly, Joshua only started to dominate once Jake started slowing down. Yes, Joshua was winning the rounds, but if Jake's cardio didn't fail, he probably would have gone the 8. Which is a nuts thing to say, but it's true. Joshua was struggling to catch Jake. Only once Jake started standing still in front of Joshua did Joshua have any real success. Joshua was hesitant enough to the point where he allowed a fatigued Paul with his hands at his hips to taunt and wag his tongue at him. He was just putting together a very average performance. But eventually, he did get the job done. A couple knockdowns in the 5th, followed up by a KO punch in the 6th, which broke Paul's jaw and was enough to get the stoppage. And although he got the win, it wasn't the performance we all hoped for. And with that, should it make us question what's next? Now, Joshua in the post-fight interview did call out Tyson Fury, which seems to be the inevitable final stop for AJ. After years of people screaming for this fight, finally the two seem set to meet. From what I understand, they will both compete early next year in warm-up fights, and then once they win those, they'll face off later in the year. Of course, it's not official, but that's what the rumored plans are. Now, although this wasn't the best performance by AJ, it won't hurt the hype around a potential Fury fight. You throw in a warm-up fight beforehand, he gets the win there. People won't care about what happened in the Paul fight. To prove that point, all we have to look back at is Fury's performance against Ngannou. That was horrific. Infinitely worse than what AJ just did against Paul, yet people were still excited for Usyk Fury, which came immediately next. The same will happen for an inevitable Fury-Joshua fight. The hype will always be there for a fight that big. So for AJ, I expect the road to lead to an eventual Fury fight. But what about Paul? Now, I keep seeing people online saying you gotta give him infinite respect for this bout. And honestly, I don't give him the same amount of infinite respect that Twitter's giving him. He didn't step in the ring to fight AJ or box him. He went in there to be a track star. Sure, it does take balls to fight AJ, I don't take that away from him. But when you're entering a fight basing your whole entire game plan around running, that doesn't do much to earn respect from the wider audience. The reality is the running was inevitable. I said it's exactly what he should have done, because that's the only way to approach a fight like this. But it does just reinforce the point that he shouldn't have been in there to begin with AJ. Going on the run against his first genuine active boxer doesn't make me suddenly admire him. Although what comes next could help him earn a bit more respect. Their plan seems to be to go for that world title at cruiserweight. Now the best case scenario next for them is Benavidez to move up, fight Zerto, Benavidez win, and then Benavidez move down to fight either Bivol or Beterbiev, meaning the belts get vacated, and then it gives Paul a chance to challenge for one of these vacant belts. Jake is still somehow within the rankings. In the meanwhile, he could take a stay busy fight, and if the cards all line up, he could actually end up challenging for a title. If he beats actual boxers on his way there, you can't deny him respect. But we'll see if they actually go down that path. The other path, which is just as realistic for them, is to continue what they're currently doing. Put him against big names and create the biggest shows. I don't think Paul's stock dropped massively from this fight. Say he has 6 months off and fights Wilder in June of next year, you're all still going to be watching. Love it or hate it, you're probably going to tune in for whatever's next. It will be interesting to see what's actually next for him, but all I know is that the Jake Paul show is far from over. Overall, I think the main event was the perfect display of where the sport is currently. The audience is now rarely grabbed by boxing brilliance. It's a sport now powered by clout and storylines. We're in a day where the best of the sport are now outshined in the media by influencers, and we wonder why people think the sport is dying. The best of the sport don't want to fight the best, half of them want to stand in line for a shot at Jake Paul, and you gotta give Jake his flowers for the way he's gone about marketing himself. But overall, it does highlight the state of boxing in the modern day. This was one of those fights though, where on paper, everyone got what they wanted. Joshua got the win, Paul proved he can technically survive for a little while, and the fans got to see Paul actually get hit. While also, I have to mention that finish on the undercard by Anderson Silva was unexpected, but super impressive for a bloke who's half a century old. If you haven't watched it, go have a look. It definitely was an unexpected highlight of the night. But anyway, now I want to hear what you think at home. What were your thoughts on the fight? What were your thoughts on their performances? And where do Paul and Joshua go after this? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. I love reading every single one of them. Now, if you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, as it really does a ton to help the channel. Yet, thanks for watching, fellas, and I'll catch you in the next one.